Good evening. Well, I hope you're going to be free to join me tonight for this live stream. I'm going to give it a little bit of a bit of time for people to get logged on. I know one person's joined us straight away, which is great. This live stream is completely unannounced, and that's because literally 5 minutes ago I decided to do this live stream. I'll tell you a little bit more about what I've been up to. It's really a check-in kind of video for you, just a little bit of a bonus live stream. Hi, Alfie. You don't mess about, mate, do you? Straight into it. And thanks for joining me, mate. I'm not going to go into too many specifics at the moment because I'm going to wait while a few more people log on. Like I said, this is completely unannounced, so I don't expect too many people joining us tonight. I've literally got about 30 minutes, okay, so you can dip in and out as you wish. It's not going to be a long live stream. Hello, Harry. How you doing, mate? Stephen Armstrong. Hi, Stephen. Shane Dunn. Hey up, mate. How you doing, pal? How's your fishing going on over there, mate? Let me know how you're getting on, mate. We've heard lots of rumours about festivals going ahead and things like that. This really is, if I am on here, well, I will be on here 30 minutes, I guarantee. The time is 8:27, okay? I've been up to all sorts, and the best way of really letting you know what I've been up to is by doing this kind of a live stream. This kind of a live stream, I'll be absolutely honest with you, it doesn't grow this channel in any shape or form. It really doesn't. All the live streams that I've done, they don't generate any revenue. It might generate £1, but it doesn't grow the audience either. You know, it's just the kind of upload that I like to use as a check-in and just have a bit of one-to-one kind of interaction with you. You know, it's, you know, I mean, I don't want to talk about specifics just yet. I'll wait a few more minutes while a few more people get logged on, but let me know what you've been up to. You know, I've seen lots of you over the last few weeks since right here in the UK, since lockdown. We are now able to go out fishing, and we have done for a while now, for a few weeks, and matches are going ahead as well, which is great. So we're finally getting a chance to get out there competing again and seeing lots of the friends that we obviously know and love and just love interacting with when we're out fishing in matches and pleasure fishing. So thanks for everyone logging on so far. Mark Shaw, hi Mark. Just watching your episode 3 challenge. Yeah, if anybody wants to know what that's all about, I can see I'm going to talk for the full 30 minutes here because so much has happened that you won't know about unless you're connected on Facebook and things like that. There's been so much going off since my recent uploads. The last uploads that I've done on this channel have really been the session videos, which I've really enjoyed doing. I know everyone loves the live match stuff. I totally understand that. The session videos and obviously the bait series. And the bait series isn't for everyone. You know, I know that, but there is a hardcore of about 3,000 or 4,000 people that love that series. And I will continue to do those because lots of people want to know what kind of baits are out there and what they mix up like before they've even kind of parted with their hard-earned cash. So please let me know what you think to that series. But I'm just going to have a quick check-in now to see who's here. Plenty of friendly names, not faces, sadly. But there we go. Finny Boo, that's a great log on. Yes, good evening. Good evening, mate. Hi, Jamie. Nice to see you. Brother John Smith. Hi, mate. Hope you're all right. Carlos. Hi, Carlos. When are you posting the Fleetwood Reservoir video? I've been working on it today, Carlos. I was hoping to have it uploaded tonight. And I will explain this to the lads at Fleetwood. The reason why it hasn't gone on tonight is because A, it's not quite finished. And B, if it didn't go on tonight, I couldn't really upload it tomorrow because, believe me, after 4 years now of being on YouTube, I know that Friday night, Saturday night and Sunday night are rubbish nights as regards viewing figures. So it won't get uploaded before Monday because I want the reservoir to get great exposure. So hope that answers that for you, Carlos. But I will be relaying that to the lads involved. Okay. Jason Brain, some great content lately. Keep it up. Thanks, Jason. Really appreciate it, mate. You know, I've been very conscious about not wanting to keep producing the same stuff all the time, you know, and I do read all the comments. You know, I don't always get a chance to respond to them all now. The main reason for that, and I'll tell you now and be absolutely honest about it, is that I've now got 400 videos now online. And if people are commenting underneath every video, for me to respond to every single comment, because those 400 videos are still there. You know, it's not just about the one that was uploaded today. I'd never produce another video ever again, you know, because I'd just be replying to comments. So I tried to find a nice balance where I can reply to some but obviously still produce content as well. So I hope you've been enjoying them. Thanks, Jason. I'm staying strictly to uploading one a week, but I have found a series of videos now and things that, you know, it might be 2 a week now, but I'll see how that goes. Okay, as in around my work schedule, as it were. So thanks for that, Jason. Appreciate that. What else we got? Andre, pure awesome. Thanks, Andre. Thanks for that, mate. I'm just taking a sup of coffee. I'm losing my voice already today. It's been a long day. Shane Dunn over in Ireland. Festivals in the south only for Irish-based anglers only. Not sure what restrictions are in the north. Thanks for that, Shane, mate. I'm glad you're getting out fishing, mate. There we go. So, how many people have we got on? Yeah, it's not going to be a mega amount tonight. I can appreciate that. And I've been on 5 minutes already, so I'm not going to ramble. So what have I been up to? I've obviously been doing lots of filming for you. Through reading the comments and stuff, I've been producing lots of content. But above anything else, I've really been out on the bank. You know, I've been back out competing in matches. My mission probably 2 years ago was to try and launch a channel like this, which I've got. I've obviously got my second channel, which is Patron TV. There are over 200 members on that now. And that's the channel that really kind of, I do more uploads on that channel, but that's the more coaching behind the scenes kind of stuff that I know not everyone is into. So I've got 2 channels there, and obviously I'm producing videos for Matrix as well, as and when I can. Okay, but I've been out there on the bank filming, and I've been out there fishing matches, and I've really been enjoying fishing some venues local to me, fishing different methods. So, for example, a month ago, I went to Fleet's Dam at Barnsley, where I went along there with the pellet waggler and the method feeder, and that was all about carp, and I went and won the match there, which was great, catching on the pellet waggler, which is not something that I've done for a few years because I've focused on feeder fishing. So that was great to win a match with a pellet waggler. And then I went along to Elsica Reservoir, which is a lake not far from me here. And I went and won a match there last week. There, so that was great with bream, but it's very kind of cautious bream fishing, shallow water. It's literally on. Well, the peg that I drew there was only 1 second deep. You know, bright sunshine most of the time, but just cagey fish. You know, when you're feeding a little bit, you're constantly having to switch lines. You know, the fish are cagey, and when you catch one, sometimes you're only catching one on each visit. You know, and then you've kind of got to show a lot of discipline and either feed that line again and rest it, or you've got to just show a bit of patience and leave it in even longer and wait for the tip to go. Or like I said, you've got to set it up or just come off it completely for a set amount of time, whatever period you decide that is, and go and fish somewhere else just to give it a rest. And I've really enjoyed that. And because those last 2 match wins have been on the venues that I've never fished matches on before, well, obviously one was carp, but not F1 carp, you know, proper carp fishing, open water. And the other one was skimmer fishing and cagey bream fishing. It's been good because when you rock up at a venue you don't know, you've no preconceived ideas about, you know, what should be working right now, what line you should be on. You don't know. You've no idea. So you're having to work a little bit hard, but you're kind of working it out as you go. You know, you're reading your peg, and you're obviously really watching what's happening around you, and you're basing your decisions on all that. So I've really enjoyed that. So I'm hoping to do more of that over the next few weeks. Yesterday I was at Southfield in the Feeder King qualifier, 60 pegs, and it was baking hot. Everything was against bream fishing, and I've done things a little bit different from how I have been doing. I worked really, really hard yesterday. I'll openly admit, you know, there are times when I always work hard. I always have to, but there are sometimes you have to dig that little bit deeper. And yesterday I did it, but I did it in an area where there were 1 or 2 bream kicking about. So, which obviously is a massive help because you're getting some sort of a reaction for your hard work. And, you know, I ended up just missing qualifying by 1.5 pounds, I think it was. I was second in the zone, which I was more gutted about when I got home. You know, I have pricked a bream, and I thought I needed 3 bream, and I've set a line up specifically for that late on in the match, and I've had 2 on it. You know, I've rested it properly, and I've had 2 on it, which is fantastic. But then I still had 25 minutes to catch a third, and the last 25 minutes of a match like that is just, you know, it's definitely the time when you'd expect to get one, and I never got one, and I was really a bit gutted about that. But I ended up 3rd overall in the match, which was great. Got about 130 quid payout, which is always great to frame in big matches like that, especially when you're in that company. But you do need the luck of the draw, and Southfield's fishing is not fishing very good at all at the minute. But I'm enjoying every minute. You know, I'm spending a lot of time on my kit and a lot of time on the bank, and I think you just get a little bit more in tune with things. You know, you can probably tell by the suntan on my arms about how much time That's how much time I've been spending on the bank. But anyway, so that's just a bit of a brief catch up about what I've been up to. But please let me know what you guys have been up to. Okay, so what we got on here? I'm just quickly skim through these. Thanks again for that, Shane. What else we got? Left-handed challenge. Yeah. I filmed a video. Obviously, in with the way things are in the world, obviously there's very lot of serious issues for people to deal with at the moment. And you know, Matrix thought it'd be a good idea to produce a video that was a little bit more light-hearted. You know, we do take our fishing serious. You know, many, not many as much as me, because you know I'm just focused on my fishing. You know, I really enjoy it, but I do take it serious in competitions as well. So we did a video where they set me a challenge, and the challenge was to fish left-handed. I'm obviously right-handed, and I can't believe how strange that felt. So that video is now live. If you want to watch that, it's over on the Matrix Fishing YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that, it is me doing fishing left-handed, trying to cast left-handed. Even the handle on the reel is on the other side, and yeah, there's a few giggles there. I felt a little bit silly sometimes, but that's what it is, you know. So that's just Matrix way of producing something a little bit more light-hearted, you know, because at the end of the day, it's fishing what we love. So, but yeah, that's over on the Matrix it's Matrix Fishing YouTube channel. It's obviously free to watch, so you can go and watch that if you wish. Okay. Darren Sharp. Hi, Darren. Hi, Jamie. I just want to say this is a live Q&A as well. I haven't done a live Q&A session on YouTube. I've done some on my other channel, but on YouTube since lockdown. Okay, so if anybody's got any questions you want to ask that you haven't had a chance to ask, you know, that you probably don't want to ask on Messenger or email, then please fire away on here and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Darren Sharp. Hi, Darren. Hi, Jamie. Great videos. Tried Southfield a couple of weeks ago for the first time and followed your method. Had a good catch of £10.5. I think that is. Yeah. Keep it up, Jamie Shop. Nice one, Darren. I'm not sure what you mean by my method, but I'm great. I'm glad you've had a good day, mate. I mean, £10's been winning matches. I think one match was won with about £9, but you know, that's what it is. The moody mistress, we all know that. Jeffrey Bacon. Hi, Jeffrey. Thanks for the advice on Saturday, Jamie, and the donuts were great too. For those that don't know, myself and Dean Barlow, who's the England feeder team manager, still run group coaching days. We've run about 7 or 8 now on different venues, and we always tend to cover different disciplines. So, for example, the last one on Saturday that Jeff was just referring to was at Southfield Reservoir, but it was in the other part of the lake, pegs 1 to 10, the woods. It was all about summer bream fishing, and that's the kind of thing that we do. You know, we have got another one coming up on a river. We've done some on Burton Joyce on the River Trent. We've done some at Barston. We've done some at Larford, and each one covers different disciplines, whether it be silverfish fishing, method, or carp fishing. We've done different things, and that's what Jeff's referring to. So if anyone's interested in wanting to know about the future days of those, then please get in touch, and I can put you on the emailing list for next time that we advertise each one. Every one of them is sold out. Okay, they're very, very popular. So you know, let me know if you want to get put on the emailing list for that. But thanks for that, Jeff, really appreciate that. Mad about carp fishing. Hi, Jamie. You getting better casting with other hand now than I see. It was weird, you know, casting left-handed. The funny thing was, I'm glad Adam was filming on my very first couple of casts, because it literally only took about 5 or 6 dodgy casts to just kind of get it right, or not right, but better. That bit surprised me. Out of everything in the day, that surprised me. I thought, after the first, second, or third cast, I thought, this just ain't going to happen. Can I underarm it, you know? But yeah, it took some getting used to. But yeah, I'm glad you watched the video. Glad you like it. Jamie, when are the Horizon Pro feeder rods in 3.6 and 4 meters going to be available in shops, and how do they compare to the XC? Thank you. Hi, Andre. Yeah, that's another reason why I've logged on as well tonight. There are several reasons why I've logged on like this tonight. Unrehearsed, like I said 5 minutes ago, or 5 minutes prior to this upload, I didn't even know I was going to do this. Yes, all the rods are coming out now, the new range Matrix rods. It's been a massive topic because I've basically used the same 3 rods for the last 2 years, and a lot of people don't really believe me, you know, and even right up until a few weeks ago, I've literally had people walk all the way around the reservoir before the start of a match just to have a look what rods I've got set up on my roost, or just because they didn't quite believe that I was using 3 rods for all the jobs that I needed to do, and I was doing, and people obviously saw that, and that was the slim that I'm always talking about, the XC, which is the mid-range rod, and then you've got the XD, which is the more of a distance and river type rod. Whereas now we've got a bigger range. Now we've got the commercial pro range that are out now, or the Horizon Pro range, and these are going to be, as the name suggests, they're more focused at catching carp and commercial fishing, which is fantastic because personally I think we've needed them for a year or so now, and thankfully they're coming through now. They've got different guides on there. I mean, all this stats and specs, I'm not going to go into them all right here now for you, because they're all on the website for you, but they have got new guides on them. The guides are still really, really good. They're perfect for fishing with braid and shot leaders, because that's a massive issue. I've been out coaching quite a lot lately. I bet I've done 15 sessions over the last, last month and a half or so. And a lot of the lads that are turning up on these sessions have got great tackle, great rods, but the eyes on the rods and the rings aren't suited for shot leaders. And I'm not knocking those rods in any way, and that's why I wouldn't never name them. They're beautiful rods in their own right. But as you can imagine, in lots of situations now, we're using shot leaders, and when you're using shot leaders, you need eyes and rings on those rods that are going to allow a shot leader not to go through there at high speed, on the cast. And some rods just aren't designed for that. All these rods that we're talking about now, the new range, are ideal for that. And I think that's great value, because it means you've got rods there that you can use with mono, and you've got rods that you can use with braid. It doesn't really matter. It just means when you can buy one rod, it does more jobs. Okay, so yes, they're a little bit more, as you can imagine. I mean, the more commercial type rods, so they've got a little bit more backbone to them. Those particular rods, a little bit more backbone for playing, carp and commercial fish. That's the whole idea of that range. But I personally haven't got mine yet. I'm hoping they're right on the way to me right now. So, if anybody sees me on the bank, then always please come and say hello, and I'll show you the rods when I've got them. And same, that applies to any other bits of kit, okay? That's always been the case, but that's part of the reason for this upload, okay? Just to let you know about that. And while I'm on the subject, all the hooks as well. There's a full range of hooks now. You're going to be seeing me using them. I've been using them over the last few weeks anyway, because I was fortunate enough to get a few samples. So I've been using them for some of my bream fishing. Well, that's all I've really done lately. I haven't had any of the barbless versions because, they're just not here yet. So I'll be showing you those in my videos and on Patron TV as well, in close-up. But I'll be using those all the time. You'll be seeing those. So I hope that answers that a little bit for you, Andre. But all the exact specs and stats are actually on the fishmatrix.co.uk website if you want to check them out. Okay. Danny Fry. Hi, Danny. Thank you for giving the advice for my fishing. Stay safe. Thanks, Danny. I really appreciate it, mate. It's nice when you get thank yous like that, because, a lot of the videos now, I was trying to work it out the other day. I've spent probably nearly 2,000 hours now just on YouTube itself, and it's a big investment in my time. And, there's very little reward financially from YouTube. It's virtually nothing now, to be fair. It's not much at all, but thank yous like that are great. Thanks very much for that, mate. Appreciate that. Dimitri, how would you avoid small skimmers and small fish general in venues where both small and big fish exist? Well, one of the things with small fish is, obviously, if you can introduce a bait that's not going to encourage the small fish to be there, then that's going to be of benefit. And that applies to the depth and where you decide to fish. Okay. Now, a prime example of that is, what example can we use? Ireland. If Shane's still watching, Shane will know all about this. Shane Dunn. We found in Ireland, and we found that on reservoirs near to where I live, that when you come closer in, you can catch small fish. However, when you get into the deeper water, you tend to catch the bigger fish. So straight away, that's a location thing. Okay, so if you're after bigger fish, you might find that they're in deeper water. You could find that it's completely the opposite. Depends on the venue and the situation, time of year. Okay, so if you can find a location where those small fish aren't, but the big fish are, then that's going to give you a great head start. Think about the baits that you're putting in. Just think about small baits. Small fish can eat small baits. I know that sounds really basic and simple, but that is true. So that's when, if we're targeting proper big skimmers or bream, you might want to introduce bigger baits that are less likely to be taken by smaller fish, like corn. Could be pellets if it's that sort of a venue. And if you're putting worm in, don't mince it. If you chop worm really, really tiny, like a lot of people do, especially on hard venues, then yeah, that might draw big fish in because of the juices and obviously the worm itself. But those tiny pieces, small fish can eat those. And we know that small fish, roach, will eat that worm, tiny perch. You know, I was at Elsica Reservoir at the weekend when I won the match. Lots of people were catching little tiny perch like that. You know, they were sat with 3 beautiful little red worms on, perfect bream fishing, but it wasn't in there 2 minutes before one of those was getting at it. So whilst we know bream love 3 red worms on a size 14, in that particular scenario and in those pegs where I were, you just couldn't fish like that because the perch were just destroying any idea of that. So think about the baits that you're introducing. Okay, the ground bait thing, I know a lot of people debate it, but I'm going to stay by my opinion, because my opinion is based on my experience, and that is that stronger fish meal mixes will generally catch you, you know, the big or select out the bigger fish, whereas more cereal based mixes, active mixes, that's probably the biggest issue. An active mix can draw small fish in big time, and that's why we use them for small fish. So try and fish with a more inert, deader mix, you know, things like that. So I hope that's going to give you a bit of an head start on that, Dimitri. John Smith, great you try and help us anglers. Massively appreciate it, Jamie. I have learnt so much from you. Thanks, John. I appreciate that, mate. Well, I'm still learning. We're all still learning, you know, and I still get bits of advice from anglers that are better than me, you know, or have got more experience than me. So, you know, I'm just passing on a lot of what I know, you know. But most of it is just sharing experiences. That's all it is. But thanks for that, John. I really appreciate that, mate. I'm just going to go through the rest of these. I mean, another reason for this upload, well, it's not an upload, this live stream is really just a bit of a humane check-in with you, you know. Lots of people, I mean, I see things on social media, on Facebook, and to be quite honest, I've said it before and I'll definitely say it again, I could easily just close every account I've got and just never switch it on again. When I see some of the comments and the disputes and things that people get involved in, I don't, you know, if social media was a pub on a pub crawl in town, that'd be the pub I wouldn't go in. I'd walk straight past it and just leave a lot of them people in there, because, you know, it's just for sharing experiences, my social media accounts. And I see a lot of people talking about sponsored anglers that are full-time anglers, and rivalries between them and club anglers and people who are just taking it up. And, you know, we're in a situation right now where, yes, I'm in a very fortunate position now. I would say fortunate, but, you know, I strongly believe I've worked for that position. But I'm still furloughed at work. You know, I'm not at work. And, you know, no matter what my experiences, no matter, you know, everything that I've done and the people that I mix with, I'm in the same boat as a hell of a lot of you guys out there, you know, regardless of ability, regardless of experience. We're in very uncertain times at the minute. I don't know if my job's going to, I don't know if I'm going to go back to work. I might lose my job, you know, and there's lots and lots of people in that boat right now. And so this is, the period that we're in right now is very much a leveler, you know. It's a level. It's brought a lot of people together, and I'm seeing people on the bank, you know, and we're all in the same boat. You know, there's lots of uncertain times out there. We're not planning big competitions like we were, because we just don't know what's around the corner. We're obviously not going abroad and planning matches abroad. We, like Shane mentioned as well, we can't get over to Ireland. For those people that have asked about the World Pairs, it's not happening in September. So unfortunately, you won't be getting a World Pairs video this year. But, you know, it's brought a lot of people together, and I'm in the same boat. So I'm still furloughed at work, you know, and like I say, I don't know what's around the corner. And that's the reason why I've been keeping really busy with the coaching and that sort of thing, just to keep myself busy and prepare for, what they used to say? What was it? Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I think that's it. But you've just got to keep going on with things. And that's why I'm really glad everyone's giving great feedback about the videos, because I'm very much in the same boat as a lot of you out there. So I really hope you're all well and safe and managing to get out and enjoy your fishing and just forget what's happening in the world a little bit for a few hours while you're watching your float or waiting for your tip to go around. Jason Brain, what advice would you give to someone wanting to get into the competition side of feeder fishing? Jason, you'd be amazed how many people ask this question, but I think very few people actually act upon it the way that I kind of convey it. If you want to get into any sort of competitive fishing, I know you've said feeder fishing, I can only tell you everything from my experience, okay? And my experience was where I got back into match fishing in 2010. I had a very happy year, fishing with Garblino Osset, a very successful team. They are now Browning Osset. And that was kind of very much on natural venues. So I was fishing the other way around. that was natural venue team fishing, okay? And so I was fishing commercials on a Saturday, and I was trying to fish natural venues on a Sunday, but on a team basis, all right? And I was working full time at the time. And my best bit of advice to you, Jason, would be to think very, very clearly. I don't know what stage you're at right now, but think very, very clearly about what you want to get out of your fishing, all right? Because if you do that, A, it will help you get there to wherever that is, and B, it'll stop you getting frustrated and falling out with it. And I don't want to sound negative on that, but what I mean is there are anglers that come into competitive match fishing right now, and they're trying to do everything, and you can't do everything. The average working person cannot compete with the big names if you've only got 1 day a week to go fishing, all right? If you've got 3 days a week to go fishing and loads of time to prep and things like that, then all right, that's fine, have a crack at it. But I'll be absolutely honest with you, when you're going to, I'm not even going to name them because you know them all. If you're going to go up against some of the best F1 anglers on snake lakes in the country on a Saturday, that's great, you can do that. The beauty about match fishing is you can just register and fish against a world champion, all right? But then on the next day, if you're going to go up against a world-class feeder angler on a river, then that's a completely different ball game. You're going to struggle to do them both, all right? If you've only got 1 day a week to spend on your fishing, you really need to think about what you want. So the first thing you need to think about is you really need to specialize. This is my own opinion, and this is the only thing I had to do, and it was the best decision I ever made. Specialize on whatever that is. You could specialize on rivers. You could focus on trying to win Riverfest. Do that. You could want to start going to places like Partridge Lakes where you're fishing for F1s. Get good at snake lake fishing, Tunnel Barn, places like that. You might prefer open water carp fishing like Barston or Larford Lakes, places like Meadowlands, places like that. It just depends what type of fishing you want to do. But what you got to think about is what you want to get out of the sport. All right. Do you want to be the best angler in your club? If you do, then that's great. Just focus on the venues where those club matches are. Simple as that. That's all you've got to do. All right. And if that is your goal, then that's brilliant. Focus on that. The other thing is, do you want to be a sponsored angler? If you want to be a sponsored angler, there's two things that you need to do. All right. One of them is inevitably get some results. All right. But you've got to get results in the right place. There's no point in winning matches if it's a little venue somewhere that no one's ever heard of, because no sponsor or potential sponsor is going to find you. You know, and even if they do find you, if those results aren't publicised anywhere, no one knows about it, that you're using their wonder bait, then you're not really much use to them. Okay, so if you are going to go in matches and try and get results, try and get them on venues where the results are publicised. And if not, publicise them yourself. But they've got to be decent numbers, not 10 peggers. All right, so you've got to do that. And the other thing is you've got to know how to use social media. Learn how to send videos on your phone. Learn how to just do a little match report. Because, bait companies and tackle companies that, sponsor you, they want something in return now. It hasn't always been like that. But more and more, they're wanting something back in return for their investment in you. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, and I'll stand on the highest wall and shout to you that it's never been easier to do that. Before, when we used to do it, you used to have to open up a laptop, open a Word document, type it all out. Then you used to have to attach it to an email, then email it to someone, and then they had to upload it to. It's not like that anymore. We've got a film studio here. You take a photograph of your fish, and you can literally, while you're having a cup of tea, when you get home after the match, just type it up. You can even WhatsApp it to someone with a picture attached. Done. It's never been easier. So learn to get social media savvy, if that makes sense. And then the other thing is you need to think about what you actually want to aim for. Okay. Do you want to win Fishermania? If you want to win Fishermania, you've got to get really good at fishing qualifiers on different venues up and down the country. And quite often the lads that do that focus their entire year on that. People like Andy Power, Jamie Hughes, they make it one of their biggest deals of the year, They'll get all the tickets and they'll go on all the qualifiers. All you need is a draw. If you get a draw, it's then up to you just to get it right. Okay, yeah, you'll have some bad days, but you've got to have a number of tickets to give you a chance of drawing that potential winning peg. All right. Now, if you want to do that, you've just got to focus on doing that. You've got to fish qualifiers. And quite often fishing qualifiers is a different mentality from winning a section. Because to win a qualifier, if it's Fishermania, I think it is, you've got to win the whole match, which that's completely different from just trying to win your 5 or 10 pegs. Okay, so just sorry if I've rambled on that, Jason. It's just that you've asked me a question that I feel, I'm very passionate about the way that it's panned out for me, and I know exactly what I've done. I've had a lot of advice along the way, and I've obviously learned from 1 or 2 mistakes as well. So I hope that helps you anyway, Jason. I just want to look at these other questions, mate, but please let me know how you're getting on, Jason, if that's something that you're going to be doing. Okay. Jake, hi Jake, went fishing today and had 3 6-pound carp in first hour, then got nothing for the rest of the day. This was on the method feeder. Not sure what I did wrong. It's a common thing, Jake. I mean, one of the things that people don't really talk about too often is that you can start the session and catch a few fish. Well, let's be honest, the start of a session is usually in the morning. And what's been happening, we've been having an incredible summer. So the middle part of the day, a lot of the time, the carp, as you talk about, are up on the top, cruising about. It's usually the worst time of day to be catching carp anyway. So that could have been the case. But sometimes they just move out the peg. It depends where you've started fishing. Sometimes you can start fishing in the wrong place, and you've started fishing where the fish probably would have backed off to if you'd started fishing somewhere else, if that makes sense. That's really what my other channel's about, that kind of thing, So, for example, if you catch them in close in, then the fish might back off out into the open water. Whereas if you've started further out and the fish, you've caught some and then they've backed off, well, they've gone out of range then. So it depends on the scenario, but that could have been an answer, Jake. Brian Jefferson, hi, Brian. Why do videos insist on ground baiting in front or downstream on rivers? Surely you're feeding the next swim. I fished a qualifier on Avon, crystal clear. You could see ground bait drifting downstream. I mean, I've had this discussion with Dean Barlow a few times. Obviously, Dean's grown up on the River Trent, and fished many rivers and had some fantastic results on different rivers all over. They just do it because it's easier to manage. It depends on the speed of the river, and the depth as well. Some are slower moving, so it's less likely that bait's going to get moved. But on some faster flowing rivers, I mean, you're saying the Avon. I know there are stretches of the Avon that are fast flowing. So that, I mean, it really depends on the river, but I mean, even loose feeding lads, loose feed downstream, I mean, Dean told me the other week about that he was fishing one match and he was literally having to feed with a catapult about 3 or 4 meters down his peg. That was where he was actually, his bait was hitting the water, and then he was running a stick. I think it must have been a stick or a waggler. I think it was a stick from the top end of his swim down, and he was catching his fish directly underneath where the maggots were hitting the surface. Now, to this day, Dean can't explain why that was happening. But at the end of the day, he worked it out, and that was the main thing on the day, So whatever reason that was, the maggots were hitting the water here, but he was running his rig through, and that is where, I mean, the maggots, if they weren't getting eaten, would have been probably hitting the bottom in the next peg. But the fish were feeding directly underneath where the loose feed was hitting the water. So I think it depends on the speed as well, Brian. If you want to put a bit more detail on that, please, mate. Martin Everett, evening, Jamie. Hi, pal. Mike Pattinson. How are you, Mike? Are you all right? Well, I haven't heard from you a bit, mate. Hope you're well. Danny Fryer. When will you have another match on the River Trent at Lorton or Dunham Bridge? I haven't got any lined up at the moment. I mean, the only real time that I've really fished on there recently has been in Feeder Masters qualifiers. And obviously that competition's been postponed for this year. So, but there are qualifiers on there next year. So I don't know. I haven't got any lined up at the moment, Danny. But I'll try and get it filmed for you the next time I do. All right, mate. Jake Sturgis. Hi, Jake. Stumbled across your channel a couple of months back. 1 week later, I had a full feeder fishing setup. Loving it. Thank you. Nice one, Jake. Thanks for that, mate. Let me know what your setup is, mate. Let me know what sort of fishing you're doing. But particularly, Jake, if you let me know, because you're obviously new to it, let me know what kind of videos you prefer. Are they the more kind of Q&A type videos, or are they, well, just let me know. Or do you like them all? But yeah, welcome aboard, Jade. Thanks for joining us, mate. Right, my feed has just jumped on me. Let me just see if I can catch up again for you. Hope you're all still hanging around. I did say 30 minutes. It's been 34 minutes, so I'm going to keep going. Why not? You'll give me a lot of support, so I'm going to give you a lot of support. Mike, been using Preston PR22 hooks, long time discontinued. Looking for a replacement. Any recommendations? Mike, I'll be absolutely honest with you. I think I used that hook about 7 or 8 years ago. No, I don't, but I will find out for you. I'm not that bang up to speed on a lot of the hooks recently because I've been using the same patterns. But I'll find out for you, Mike, mate. I know how to find out for you. I will find out, Mike. Thanks, Jamie, for the detailed answer. You're the best. No problem, Dimitri. Oh, you're all right, mate. Thanks for logging on again. Danny Fryer, would you bring any barbel fishing videos to your channel? Yes, Danny. You've probably noticed, or long-term subscribers to the channel, long-term watchers have probably noticed that I have been rolling, a few different videos out. I'm just trying to keep it varied for you. I mean, obviously it's been based on feeder fishing, but that's why I never call this channel the feeder fishing channel. It's the catch fishing channel because it's fishing. And that's why I've been incorporating pellet waggler fishing, pole fishing as well, and the rivers. I've already done, I think, 1 or 2 on the rivers anyway. The session type videos? And I will be getting back on the rivers. Like I say, I'm still furloughed at work. I've been really busy with coaching and stuff. But, depending on my job and that sort of thing, it could free up a lot more time to do more videos on different venues. So, but yes, there are more videos coming on rivers. Thanks for that, Danny. Michael Gray, hi, Jamie. Feeder fishing is new to me and tried the Matrix open feeder. I had a few fish with a 4-inch hook length, but bites dried up. I tried other hook lengths and a bomb, but still struggled. Any advice? That's the only hook length that I would ever use with an open method feeder or a normal method feeder. 4-inch is all we ever use. Okay, and no, that complies with most fishery rules or commercial fishery rules. But I know, or I've heard, that there are 1 or 2 fisheries up and down the country, that's here in England, that allow 2-inch hook lengths. I'm not sure what venues they are, but please be careful if you are going to go down to a 2-inch hook length, because not every venue allows that. I only ever fish 4-inch, end of. Never change it. The whole idea of that method, I know you're new to it, Michael, and I'm sure you get this, mate, but the whole idea of a method feeder, whatever style of method feeder it is that you're presenting a ball of bait on the bottom and you're putting your hook right in the middle of it. That is what it's all about. And the idea is, obviously, a fish comes along, goes to eat that pile of bait and sucks in your hook bait as well. That's the whole idea of it. So to have a longer hook length, if you're still tucking it in, it's not really going to work, because part of the reason why that rig's so good is because the 4-inch hook length is just long enough for it to get into a fish's mouth. If a fish tries to eject it, if you've got a hair rig on, then that's when the hook goes in. With a longer hook length, you won't hook them as well, but that's when you bring in a different method then. So possibly they weren't, there could be, well, there's loads of reasons why you might have stopped catching, but it could quite simply be the fish might have moved away. But if you want to try it, I mean, you're new to it, Michael, if you want to try it on that scenario, either a bomb, well, you said you tried a bomb, but try it with a feeder, like a cage feeder. Instead of a bomb and a longer hook length, I don't know, 15-inch, 18-inch hook length, try it with a feeder, either a plastic feeder or a cage feeder with some pellets in. And what you're doing then is you're just presenting a bait that's nowhere near that pile of bait, okay? And you're going to get a slower fall of the hook bait, and that can pick up fish that way. And that tends to be the way that we'll catch when the fish aren't sticking their mouths in a ball of ground bait. Okay, so try that out, Michael, if you haven't done already, and please let us know how you get on, mate. But welcome to feeder fishing. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. What's your day job, Jamie? My day job, basically, I've worked for 10 years at a company. I've worked 5 days a week, and 6 months ago, I got the opportunity to go down to 3 days a week, but that was still to do a week's worth of work, but in 3 days, which, as you can imagine, it was messy on 5 days, so I still have to do the same job, but in 3 days. Where we are a franchise. I don't own the franchise. I'm just an employee, but I've been there 10 years, and we sell security equipment. So it's CCTV cameras, burglar alarms, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, we don't fit anything. So, yeah, that is my day job. Currently, it's not. It's my, but who knows what's around the corner? I don't know. Alfie Adams, I have been fishing with Keith Clifton. Oh, wonderful. Keith's a great lad. I saw him yesterday. Yeah, Keith, he's a good angler as well, Keith. And I know he's just started his own YouTube channel as well. So I haven't seen how that's going on lately over the last week. But yeah, he is. He's a great lad, Keith. I know he's always willing to help other people out as well. Sally Billingham at Whiteacres next week. How would you approach these venues? Oh, my word. What a question that is. There's about 7 different lakes. It's a bit too varied, that one, I'm afraid. I haven't been to I haven't been to Whiteacres since 2011. The last time I was there, I did 2 festivals back to back. But back then it was the Bait Tech Festival, which was the first of the year, and that went straight into the Dynamite Festival. It's a bit too varied, that one, I'm afraid. If you know what lakes you're going to be on, if you do know, then please let me know and I'll do my best to help you out. But I haven't been for a few years, unfortunately. Dave George, evening, Jamie. Good evening, Dave. Jeff Bacon, do you think it's best to concentrate on one or two venues when you start match fishing? Yeah, 100%, mate. You know, you can do it on one venue. If I could select a venue to focus on, which I've never ever done, I have done for short periods, like a series or something like, or a winter league on that venue. That's when I've done it. If you can do it on one, do it on one, but just make sure it's one that's got plenty of matches on it. And the other thing you've got to do, just on that, touching on that, focusing on specialising business, Jeff, and to, was it Jason who asked the question earlier? Just kind of know yourself about your own fishing. You know, a prime example of this is last year I fished the Spring League at Southfield. Everybody had said that's right up my street. You know, bream fishing, open water fishing, especially in spring when the fish aren't, you know, they're not feeding too strongly or confidently. And going into the very last round, I think I'd led the league going into the last two, well, for the last two rounds, basically. And I was going into the last round, I was winning the league, and I drew in the woods as well. So I was confident or thought I was going to catch a few fish. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, I was fed up of getting the same tattle out. And that was the 6th match in 6 weeks on that venue. So for me, I kind of need a little bit more variety in my fishing. And that's why, you know, I mean, I'll tell anybody, if you want to just get results, if you're focusing on results, stick to one venue or two venues. All right, because that's, you'll get to know the venues. And if you keep working on your game, upping your game, learning from other people, learning about your game, you should get results eventually. You know, no matter how, you know, depends how long it might take you. It might take you a short period. Depends how quick you pick it up. But that is, you know, if someone said to me, right, Jamie, you've got to go out and get a load of results now. Well, that's the first thing I'd do is pick a venue and stick to it and just get some venues. But I can't do that. You know, I need some variety in my fishing. Like I said, you know, the last match, well, 2 weeks ago, I won a match fishing for carp, pellet waggler, method feeder. The week later, I'm fishing a shallow reservoir where I won a match on a cage feeder. And then yesterday, I was at Southfield fishing a cage feeder, but for bigger bream, you know, on a really big water. I need that bit of variety. So whatever venue it is you're going to focus on, or whatever two venues, just make sure there's enough interest for you to keep you going. So if you get fed up, then you're not going to be enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, it's going to become like hard work. And if it becomes hard work, you're going to fall out of it. Trust me. And that's what I said about just kind of knowing what you want. You don't want to be falling out with it. For the vast majority of people who watch these videos who are out there fishing, fishing is your hobby, it's your pastime. This is your break from work, you know. And, you know, if you are at work all week, the last thing you want to be doing is also getting frustrated and tired on your weekend doing something that you love to do. So just think about it. I think that's all I can say really on that. What else have we got here? I'm trying not to miss anyone out, so do forgive me because I'm going through these. Thanks for that, Jeff. Appreciate that, mate. Rob Davison, first match in 30 years this Sunday. Could be interesting. Wish me luck. Welcome back to fishing, Rob. I hope you're charged up. Good luck, mate. Let us know how you get on. 30 years. I bet a lot's changed since you last fished a match, mate. I bet it's like a completely different sport, isn't it? Michael Brett. Hello, Jamie. I love my fishing, but I really would like to get into a big match, but I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Can you help me on how to get more confidence? The first thing you need to do, Michael, in my opinion, is just get happy with your own game. All right. So, you know, you only you know what your game's like. You know, if it's a feeder fishing match, are you happy hitting your clip? Are you happy? Are you accurate in your casting? If you're happy with all that, then yeah, just take the plunge. But just don't have any great expectations. If you have great expectations, that'll just lead to you getting disappointed and you'll start to fall out with it. Just be realistic. Okay, that first 1, 2, 3 matches, expect to get hammered. Just expect it. But the first thing you need to do is, if you're going to take it serious, is when you get those hammerings, or even if you catch as well, when you get home, just pick up I've got one here. Look, I've got fresh from the store. You're going to think I'm saying this like just for plugging the merch. Match diary. For anybody thinking about starting match fishing, get a diary. Start a diary. Whatever it is, don't matter what it is. It could be something on your phone, on a spreadsheet. Start recording stuff. Okay. So those first 2 or 3 matches, just go in at the deep end, Michael, and expect to get hammered. but write everything down, because every time you go, you're going to learn something about the tactics, the methods. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. That's all you're going to do. And next time you go, you're going to have that little bit more in your armory. All right, just go in at the deep end, honestly, mate, but don't have any expectations. Just expect to come last, because anything better than that's going to be a bonus. And just take away the positives, but just learn from your mistakes. That's the key thing. Some people keep doing the same mistakes. They keep trying to do their thing, and if it's not working, and if another method's working on that venue, then you've got to fish to win. You've got to be prepared to fish the method that is going to win the match. You know, it's all right saying, yeah, but I love to fish a waggler. Well, if everything's getting one on a feeder, then you might as well just go pleasure fishing. You know, so all it helps you with that matter. Let us know how you get on, though, mate, if you do go. Mark Sexton, good luck, Rob. Nice one, Mark. Thank you. There you go, Rob. There's an extra good look for you, mate. Stephen Peters, hi, mate. Hi, pal. Royal Catch, hello from the Ukraine. Good evening. How are you? Okay. What's the fishing like in Ukraine now? Are you allowed to go out? Are you locked down? What? Please let us know. Adam Wheeler, hi. Hi, Adam. Hi from Devon. Hi, mate. What else we got here? Chris George, hi from Wigan. You never fish. Have you ever won a match on Carmill? No, I haven't. I've had a second at Carmill. I was second in a golden rod feeder qualifier. And I think I've had a third, couple of section wins, but Carmill's always been hard. Every time I've been there, it's always fished hard. You know, it's always been a low weight affair. It's never really fished. And I haven't been for a while, but no. But good evening anyway, Chris. Thanks for joining us, mate. Danny Fryer, cheers, buddy. No problem, mate. Big Ben Gaming. Hey, Jamie, how would you attack an open water venue with no islands? Is that a tab button? I don't know what that is. I clicked on it anyway. Oh, no, it's not. Open water. Just cover your options. You know, a big reservoir, you know, just look for, cover your options. And when I say cover your options, if it's a reservoir where there's no difference in depth, cover your ranges. So have a shorter cast and then have a longer cast. Cover your options. And if it's a reservoir where you've got fluctuations in depth, cover at least 2 different depths. Simple as that, mate. You know, and just take it from there. All right. So say, for example, you've got a 10-second count on your long line, then look for 5 seconds somewhere, because that way, if the fish are in a different depth from the other one, then you're covering your options. It's the best way on open water reservoirs. You know, it really is. Just cover your options. But if you want to send me a bit more information about if it's a specific water, then please feel free to do so. Big Ben. Jake Sturgis, hello again. What's your go-to wafter? I've been using these Crafty Catcher Carp sweet things. They work well sometimes, but there's lots of long waits for fish. I'll share a little bit of advice with you, Jake. It's something that I've learned. One of my good friends, I'll not name him in case he doesn't want naming, has also learned this through lockdown. And I've done a lot of experimenting with it. I've done so many things through lockdown that people, they'll never know about. I've done lots of experimenting with different baits. There's all sorts. I've been trying new rigs out, just things that I don't normally get time to do, things that give you an edge, or even just kind of give you a bit more confidence. And one of them is wafters. Now, there are so many different wafters out there, you know, and I'll openly admit, and I think regular viewers to my channel will know that for the last year or so, I've almost exclusively used ringers. The ringers wafters, the mini wafters, the all sorts I've used a lot. And that's really just been a confidence thing, because, you know, whenever I've been out, when I've caught fish with them, that's great. And when I haven't caught, or I've drawn bad or whatever, the lads that I'm fortunate to be close to that have caught, they've used them as well. So I just kind of stick with them. But there are loads out there. You know, I had a lot of success with the dumbbell wafters, the Bait Tech ones, the Juice dumbbell wafters when they first came out. You know, I won a couple of matches at Larford, open matches with those, and won sections and stuff with those. But I don't really use the dumbbell shape so much now. I've gone more down the kind of like the all sorts shapes. It's not perfectly round. I do use the perfectly round boilers as well, but the wafters that are just slightly, they're not quite a dumbbell. They're more like a bandom type shape. So they're the ones I'm using. But I can't. There are so many out there. I can't tell you which is best or anything. The only thing I can say to you, Jake, a bit of advice is that some are more reliable than others, in the sense that some of them, some makes and some brands, some of them may float. Some are not really very semi-buoyant or neutral buoyancy, and some are perfect. Some companies are more predictable than others. I think that's best I can say. But always test them. I mean, the best thing, Jake, is when you're putting them on your hair, whatever it is you're putting on, just test it in a tub of water just to make sure it's sitting right, mate. And, you know, even the lads at the very top do that. So I hope that helps you out, mate. Also, I always say your name like that, don't I, mate? Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Paul Thompson. Where's that gone? Where's that feed just gone? Here we go. Where have you gone, Paul? I've just got to yours. Paul Thompson, hi, Jamie. Have you recovered from our coaching day yet? I've put in all into practice and my catch rate has definitely gone up since. Fantastic, Paul. Thanks very much for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've got to admit some of the coaching days recently have been a bit of a test, but, you know, it's one of them things that if you was going to go on a coaching day and with myself or anybody, and, you know, you cast out and the tip goes around every single cast, yeah, you're going to have a nice day's fishing, but you don't learn as much. Whereas, you know, you rock up on the days when you've really got to work for every single fish, then that's when, you know, the candidate or the client that you're with gets the maximum out of it, because you're having to ring changes, and I don't want them to come away from the bank having not caught, so I'm having to dig deep as well, you know, and that's when you tend to do more changes and things in your game. So if anyone is interested in any sort of coaching days, just go to the website, catchfishingchannel.co.uk website. Okay, there are a load of dates on there, all free to book. What I mean is they're all available, what's there. And I am adding dates to there all the time. So if anyone's interested in those, then please get in touch or just book a day and I'll get in touch. So thanks for that. I really appreciate that, Paul. I mean, the biggest thing is you've got some benefit out of it and you've seen an improvement. So nice one. Thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Brian Jefferson, I'll PM you on my previous question. Need to be fair to the other guys. All right, Brian. Thanks, mate. Michael Gray, thanks for that. No problem, mate. Anytime. Graham Nash, hello, Jamie. Great opportunity for me to say thank you for continuing groundbait info videos. Trouble is, I want to try everyone to show. Thanks, Graham. I mean, like I say, you know, from building a YouTube channel point of view, groundbait video, it's not a massive thing. I mean, I've uploaded one tonight. If anybody hasn't seen it, let's just have a look. It's the Dynamite Baits Frenzied Hemp Seed Match Black video. I mean, it's been watched. It's not been on there long. It's been watched 1.1 thousand times, which is fantastic. You know, I mean, if 10 people watch the videos, I really enjoy that. But the channel's only grown by 3 subscribers, which is fantastic. Welcome aboard if you're watching those 3. Thank you very much for subscribing. But as regards creating for the time that goes into them, you know, they're not for everybody. Like I say, probably 3,000 or 4,000, maybe 5,000 people enjoy them, which is fantastic. So I'm glad you're getting benefit out of them. That's basically what I'm saying. For the time and effort, I'm glad you're enjoying that series. So thanks for that, mate. Right, let me just have a quick catch up with these. I said 30 minutes, didn't I? It's been 53 minutes now. But I've got to look at these questions for you because it's only fair to you guys. You support me, so I'm supporting you. Thanks again, Paul. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Graham. Alfie Adams. Keith is a great angler. Helps me out a lot with his YouTube. Going great. I love them. That's great to hear. Thanks, Alfie, because I know Keith's putting a lot of time and effort into it, so I'm glad it's working out for him. Tyree Froggatt, you should do an old school ways versus modern pal. Also, what do you think of the Matrix and Fox underwater series? Yes, that is certainly a video that I've got in mind. You know, an old school versus modern day. I did actually. I mean, some of you may be interested. A few years ago, I did it was almost a head-to-head with Dean Barlow. It was for a German online magazine called Champions Team, and that was an article we did, and we fished at Southfield Reservoir before it was famous. And I fished with the method all day, and Dean fished with a cage feeder, a conventional old school approach. And I'm quite pleased to say, I'll tell you the results, because this is going back about 6 years now. It must still be there online. We ended up with the same weight. The only difference was Dean's fish were a little bit smaller, whereas every fish I got was a proper fish on a boilie. So what's that tell you about, you know, bream fishing? You know, but that's a great idea. And what was the other question? What do I think of the Matrix and Fox underwater series? I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, just like always. I think it's a fantastic series. I love underwater filming, and I'm just going to take a quick swig of this. the Fox, the underwater filming stuff is great. It's great viewing. It's great educationally for people learning about how fish feed and that sort of thing. But I've got to be absolutely honest with you that, you know, every now and then I see something in one and I think, oh, I wish that had not have gone public. You know, just like the very first submerged video that we did on the Matrix channel. I know a lot of you have seen that. I had so many messages about that, about various things, about how close the hook bait lands to the cage feeder. You know, there were certain things that we already we already knew. Not the film crew and that, but some of the anglers that I fish with. And, you know, there were things we were doing to combat that. And obviously when that comes out, there's certain things you want to keep to yourself. But fantastic series. I don't know an angler what wouldn't be interested in seeing underwater filming of how fish feed. You know, it's a massive thing. So, yeah, I think it's a fantastic series, mate. Stephen Norbury, hope you're well, mate. I know you've been shielding and all sorts, haven't you, mate? I hope you're all right. Hi, Jamie. Lefties need to stick together. Oh, you're a lefty, aren't you? I forgot. Yeah. When fishing a deep venue, 30 foot plus, how do you manage to make sure the feed gets to the bottom? Feeder sleeves? Yeah. The things that you need to think about when you're fishing in deep water is that you need to protect your ground bait, if you're using ground bait, as much as you can from the water. Okay, so it's the things that are going to make ground bait come out of you, assuming you're packing it in right, is that it's the time that it's actually in the water, because the water will get to the ground bait and start it to break down, and it's the water that can help push it out of the feeder. So it's like a cage feeder, it's going to help push the bait out of the feeder. So you want to protect it. So yes, cage coats are great if you're using like an Horizon style feeder. The cage coats just slide over. These are Matrix ones, obviously. They slide over the feeder, and you just put them over the steam from a kettle, and the tubing shrinks to the cage. If anyone hasn't seen those, but yeah, or a solid plastic feeder that will get your bait down as well. And the way that I learnt about it, or the way that I get confidence in it, is when your feeder hits the bottom. If you're an experienced feeder angler, I know you'll be able to know, Steve. I know you will. And whether you're fishing with mono or braid, usually on those sorts of venues, we're fishing with braid. What you can actually do is, in order to give yourself a little bit of confidence, is when your feeder hits the bottom on your first 2 or 3 casts, just move your feeder, okay? Because what you'll do is you'll actually get to know whether the ground bait is still in the feeder or not. An empty feeder moves a hell of a lot easier than a feeder that's still got ground bait in it. So your first 2 or 3 casts, you might want to use them as exploratory casts to just get a feel for how tight you should be packing your ground bait in. And for me, that was the only and best way of doing it. All right, so when the feeder hits the bottom for the first time, just give your feeder a little move. Just move it a little bit, and you should feel if it's still full. It might feel solid and then suddenly go free. Well, you've emptied it on the bottom. However, if it's still empty, it feels empty, then you know you need to pack it in a little bit harder. So I hope that helps you with that, Stephen, mate. Jeff, by the way, it took me 2 days to dry my feet. Yeah, I bet. Jeff rocked up at Southfield in boots, waterproof boots, but he didn't find out that those waterproof boots had got a hole in them until he went in the water. That's usually the time when you find out. So he had to sit all the way through the day on Saturday with wet feet. So yeah, I bet they were like prunes, weren't they, Jeff? I bet. Stephen, Jamie, good luck to all over the weekend. Thanks, Stephen, mate. Sorry you can't make it. For those that don't know, my other channel, Patron TV, it has it's a Patron weekend, really. We've got a big match that I put on. I put on 2 matches every year, all paid for. And this weekend is our summer match. That is on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. 35 anglers are coming along to that. I've paid the pegging fee on that, £9 a peg, so I've paid all that. I'm going to be giving away 1 or 2 prizes as well. And that's just my thank you to everybody who's joined that channel, just for, you know, it's an opportunity where we can actually see each other face to face instead of doing everything online and on the phone. It's just a great opportunity to have a day's fishing. Dad is fishing as well, so he's going to muck in and he's going to fish the match as well. So thanks for that, Stephen, mate. Shame you can't be there, mate, but hopefully on the next one. Mad about carp fishing. Whiteacres is ground bait and dead reds. Oh, there's some answer there for you. Mad about, I can't remember who it was who emailed me about whiteacres. Was it Sally? You might just want to have a look at that there. Thanks for that, mate. Jeff, on 2 more morphine tablets. Rough day, Jeff. I know you're not really selling our coaching days, are you much? It was a tough all day though, mate, wasn't it? Team Codheads Fishing. Hi, mate. Do you think ducks in your swim attract or spook fish? Bit of both. And Frith, And, hey, mate, is that you? Obviously, that is you. I know why you're asking that. I think that on commercials, carp get used to ducks being there because the ducks are usually there feeding the loose-fed pellets, okay? But obviously, if ducks are splashing about and they're going to, you know, it can upset carp a little bit. But if carp are hungry and they know where the ducks are, where the pellets are going in, they're there. They might just be a little bit deeper. Simple as that. I think the two have learned to live together. And thanks for the weekend, for the other day, mate. Really appreciate it. I've been working on your video today, and that will be uploaded, mate, as soon as it's done. But yeah, great question, mate. And yeah, those ducks were driving me mad at the weekend. Michael Brett, thank you, mate. Really helped me. That's great. Thanks, Michael. Let us know how you get on, mate. Alan Sandham, hi, Jamie. Like the idea of keeping a diary. Link for this one, please. The thing with the diary, Alan, is that, you know, a lot of people say, and I had this when I first started match fishing, I seem to remember everything or most things, and that was great. But the more you fish, the more experience you get, the more likely you're going to forget stuff because you've got more in your head. So that's why it makes sense. I still pick my diary up. I still pick that diary up and read about a match that I fished months ago or a year ago or whatever, and there's things in it, and I think, what did I can't remember doing that. Why did I do that? And had I not written it down, you know, you might have used a different mix or caught on a daft hook or silly hook bait or something. It's amazing what you forget, you know, even when you've got a good memory, you know. So why not? It takes, and if you do it in note form, don't write it out so it's going to take you an hour to write up every night. Just do it in bullet form. It's just there, all right? And if it's a nice A5 size like that, then when you go away on festivals or if you're away for the weekend or anything like that, you can just whack that in your van or in your overnight bag. And when you draw in the morning or if you've got heading off, you've got it all there with you as well. And the other thing is, if you are involved in teams and you do ever want to share information with anybody, you know, for example, I mean, lots of people have helped me out to give me information on venues. And they obviously ask me questions about venues that I fish now. I want to return the favour and share things with them. All I do is I'll say, yeah, rather than me having an hour phone call to them, I get my phone, get the page and just go, send them a picture on WhatsApp of that page and they've got it all then. Okay. So for me, it's a win-win. It is if you're serious about it. Andre, hi everyone. Hi mate, how you doing? Hi Jimmy, my question is, how many times a week do you go fishing? Well, recently, like I said, I've been on furlough. I mean, usually it's twice a week whenever I can. Okay, on my normal working week is 3 days, so I get 4 days off. Okay, so one of those days might be a match, one I might be coaching, and the other one I try and get out filming. So obviously I've got 2 channels now that I need to keep filming for. So, you know, sometimes when I'm out on the bank and people say, oh, you're going fishing again, to be honest, I might only fish for 2 hours. The rest of the day is spent filming and setting things up and all that sort of stuff. But I also have days out when I'm out just purely trying stuff out. You know, if there's certain things I want to work on, you know, up my game or whatever, or if I've done something at the weekend and it wasn't quite as good as it could have been, or I've tried a new rig out or whatever, I go out and do things like that. So, you know, a couple of times a week, but like I say, because I've been furloughed recently, obviously through the last few weeks, it's probably been 3 times a week, maybe 4 if I'm coaching. Jamie, mate, how you doing? Mr. Freezers, Simon, thanks for that, mate. Mr. Freezers, I haven't had those for years. Andre, Jamie, for a person that goes fishing once in a while, what would be the best to have a successful down feeder? Aiming bream, roach hybrids on feeders. What kind of preparations should I do? If you're just after a day's fishing, I mean, if you're just after a day's fishing, you can't go wrong with fishing like old school cage feeder fishing, because the cage feeder will capture all sorts. And if you're fishing with natural baits as well, fish with maggots, casters and worms, brilliant baits. They're going to catch you all sorts. And if bigger fish do rock up, they will eat them as well. So if it's just, I can't quite understand what that is, but just, Andre, if it's just bites you're after, mate, just natural baits all the way. James, I wish I could do a coaching day, but I'm across the pond. Well, to be honest, James, that's part of the reason why I launched my other channel, Patron TV. There are people on that channel or members to that. They live in Belgium, Holland, South Africa, America, Australia. You know, I'm probably never ever going to meet those people. So they can't literally have a day's coaching. So, you know, face-to-face coaching day. So that's what that channel is all about. They can get access to all that information online from wherever they are, even on their mobile phone. Okay, so that's why I did that. But yeah, I am hoping to get over there as soon as I can, though, James. So I'll let you know where I'm going to be, mate. We might get a chance for a beer, mate. But obviously, knowing how big that place across the pond is, we could be miles away from each other. Steve McCrory. Hi, Steve. Hope you're well, mate. Hi, Bagger. What new venues are you going to next? First Fleets, Danflass, then Elsica. We can then try to predict where the next win is coming from. Yeah, I've done all right in those new venues, haven't I, Steve? It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I mean, they are the two main ones, to be fair. It's just because Feeder Masters was obviously postponed, and one or two other things. We had 2 trips to France planned for the European Championships and the World Championships. We had 2 trips to Bulgaria planned for the World Club Championship final that we qualified for, but they've all gone. And that's really why I just kind of wanted to, I thought, well, cut down on mileage, get to know 1 or 2 of these venues around where I live, because, they're great venues and they've got good. It's not always about the venue, it's about the turnout as well. I don't want to be fishing 10 and 15 peggers. So the venues that are getting those sorts of turnouts, I'm not really interested in. Whereas I went to Fleets, there were 30 there. I went to Elsica, I think there was 30 there. Obviously, Southfield yesterday, 60 anglers sell out, those qualifiers. They're good numbers to be fishing against. So I don't know. I'm going to have a look around. I'll keep you posted on that, Steve. But thanks for following the journey, mate. I really, really appreciate it. What else have we got on here? Any advice for fishing a meat feeder? Is this something you do much of? Thanks. I learned to fish with a meat feeder when I went down to Whiteacres in 2011. That was a very good tactic on there, certainly on one of the lakes. And that's where I did it. But I haven't done much of it since. And that's purely because I haven't fished the venues where it works or where people fish it. The best thing I used to do with it is just, keep the... Well, it's just... I never like to put anything with the meat if I could help it. Sometimes I mix micro pellets, just caps the feed off with micro pellets. But sometimes you have to put ground bait with it. I never had much success with ground bait for some reason. Like I say, I only fished it for that brief window in 2011, so I haven't done much of it. So what else we got? Great Q&A, Jamie. Tim Baker. Hi, Tim. Hope you're all right, mate. Hope you're not handcuffed to that desk again, mate. I know you've enjoyed your holiday, but you're back now, aren't you? Adi Holland. Jamie, I've got 2 amorphous 11, 13-foot feed rods. How would you compare these rods to the rods made now? Wow, I actually had 2 of those. I had 2. And they were great. I used them on the River Trent. The biggest difference to them, action-wise, I remember they were pretty good. But the biggest thing that comes to mind, or the main thing that comes to mind, is the size of the rings of the runners. The amorphous I had, I could never have. It depends what you're doing with it. If you're fishing on a river with normal mono and that sort of thing, then fine. Happy days. But I wouldn't have liked to have fished with a shot leader with it, and I wouldn't have liked to have fished with braid and a shot leader, and tried to cast at distance, because the eyes are only small, so it could lead to crack-offs. So the biggest thing is now the rods that do that sort of job now have got bigger eyes, bigger rings on them, which are more suited for shot leaders. So I hope that helps you with that one, Eddie. Chris Lynch. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jamie. Do you ever fish the slider? No, I haven't fished the slider. I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was 1991. That was the last time I fished with a slider. So you could say no. And that was an England feeder team trial at Gold Valley. No, it wasn't. It was Willow Park, the one next door. It was back in 91. It was Willow Park that was the venue there. So no, I haven't fished it since 1992. So no, not very often, mate. Dijan, service from Germany. Keep up the great work, mate. Thanks, Dijan. Hope you're well over in Germany, mate. Hope you're managing to get out fishing and stuff. Chris George. Hi, Chris. How much is a coaching day, please? Hi, Chris. I had to put my prices up a little bit. I had to put the cost up a few weeks ago. It was £150 a day, but now it's £175 a day. And that's because I just got told off by the accountant. Because obviously the £175 covers your day ticket. And on some venues, that's a tenner. But I also provide all the bait as well. So I provide the ground bait, any fishery pellets, and all the other baits that you need as well. So on some of the venues, I've got 30 quid coming straight out of that just for bait and day ticket. And then there's obviously mileage. And it depends on the venue. So if it's within 60 miles of Sheffield, then it's £175. But if it's up to 100 miles away, it's an extra £15 just to cover my diesel for travelling 100 miles. And then if it's further than that, it's a little bit extra for driving 200 miles. Simple as that. But that is for up to 2 people. Okay, so all the dates there, that price, £175, that's for up to 2 people. So if you want to share it with a mate, that like a lot of people do. And that's for the full day from 8:30 until about 4 o'clock, 4:30. All right, so all the dates are on the website if you're interested. So thanks for that, Chris. Andre, thank you, Jamie. My question came from the fact I don't really have the time to go fishing every weekend. So whenever I want to go fishing, I want to have good results, activity. Got you. One of the best things you can do then is just do a bit of research. Okay, get connected in your area. Find out where is fishing well. Simple as that. If your time's limited, just find out where's fishing well. You know, because you might have a great venue, and if it's a reservoir, for example, quite often there are more fish in certain areas of a reservoir than other areas. So whilst you might be at the right venue, because you don't know where the fish have been caught, you might end up sitting in a completely different spot where the fishing's rubbish and you've wasted a day. So just do a little bit of research. It's never been easy to do that. You know, Facebook, there are loads of groups on Facebook. You know, your fishery that you're going to might be on there, match results, or just your friends, okay? Or just give the bailiff a call. If I'm going somewhere on a feature and, you know, we want to do a specific job, the first thing I'll do is ring the bailiff or the fishery owner and just find out how it's fishing and find out where the best pegs are and what the best baits are. Because the sake of 10, 15, 20 minutes research, you can make sure that, you know, we'll try and ensure you're going to have a good day's fishing. So I hope that helps you out with that, Andre, mate. Keith Harrison. Hi, Keith. Hope you're all right, mate. Evening, Jamie. All prepped for Larford on Saturday. Good, mate. I know you're joining us. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone fishes. And I'm not fishing it this year because I want the opportunity to go and meet all 35 of you. So I know there's lots of you I still haven't met, and it's a great opportunity to give you a fist bump or an elbow prod or whatever it is. So look forward to seeing you, Keith, mate. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught? I know exactly what it is. I never fish for big fish, I'll be honest with you. I've never even like taken time out pleasure fishing for specimen fish. But my biggest fish was a 24-pound carp, and that was at Larford Lakes. And that I was filming a video for that. But I did have one that was 23-pound or 22-pound in a match on that same venue, which I won the match. So that's the biggest one that I've had weighed in a match. So yeah, some people think that big, but I suppose by in relation to the fish that are in that particular lake, you know, there are fish much bigger than that in that one. Jeff Bacon, have you still got the photos of the fish I caught on Saturday, please? Yes, mate. Yeah, I put your catch shot on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, but if you want to ping me your number, then I will WhatsApp it you over, Jeff, if you want your catch shot picture, mate. Steve Lovett, evening, Jamie. Great to see the Q&A. Thanks, Steve, mate. I've seen you comment. I think you've commented on something on Patron TV. Thanks for that, Steve. I'm glad you're getting some benefit out of it all, mate. Glad to hear things are on the up. Jeff Owens, are you going to miss the World Pairs in Ireland? Yes, I'm going to miss everything about it. You know, the World Pairs is more than just a fishing. You know, we've said that before. Obviously, you want to win. And, you know, every year we've got more and more competitive and more serious. Not more serious about it, but we've got more hungry to win. And that's because it's a bit of a drug, you know. But the World Pairs is not just about the fishing, it's about the trip. You know, that is almost the only time that I get to see the partner that I fish with, which is Richie Hull. I never see him. It's very, very rare I see him, except for that 1 week of the year. So, and there's everybody else there. There's the Buzz. There's obviously fishing in Ireland, which is fantastic. So yes, yeah, I could talk all night about that, but yes, definitely going to miss it, mate. Stephen Peters, hi, Stephen. Are you planning to fish the Golden Rod qualifiers at Larford? Not the Golden Rod. Do you mean the Golden Rod feeder? Yes, the Golden Rod feeder I've got. I'll be absolutely honest with you, lots of tickets for it. Lots of tickets. So yes, I will be. Feeder Masters didn't go ahead, and one or two other things. So yeah, I'll be having a crack at that. Why not? I'd love to be in that final again. I made a big mistake on day one last year, which cost me quite a few points. I was really annoyed at that. Because, but again, that was because we only got back from Spain from the Iberian Masters 3 days before the final. So I just couldn't get down there practicing. You know, if I'd had 1 or 2 days down there, I would have been more in tune with the venue. So yeah, it's very much unfinished business, that one. So yes, I will. Steve McCrory, Johnny Arthur just had £477 at decoy. Jealous. I'm not. I'm over the moon for him. I think it's a UK champs record. Obviously won the round. And John always wins a round in that competition every single year. I was talking to him the other day about that. No, that fishing's not for me. It's just, it might be one day. It's just not. I mean, I think he caught all of them mugging, which again is not for everybody, but he's obviously done it bang on, you know, and he's brilliant at it. He's been the UK champ for three times, hasn't he? So he's an awesome angler, especially at that sort of fishing. Well, he's a great all-rounder, John, you know, but I first heard about John when he was winning on the canals and stuff. So, you know, he's a great all-rounder. But no, it's just not for me, that sort of fishing. But I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't fancy going to Southfield Reservoir as well. I think he'd rather sell his tackle. So, but yeah, fantastic. What a weight. Let's have a look. UK champs yesterday. Oh, yes. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, sorry. Bradley Hughes. Hi, Bradley. Hi, Jamie. What are your views on new feeder rod range? I have XS Slims and really like them. The XS Slims are brilliant, mate. And I'll be absolutely honest with you. The XS Slims that you're probably referring to now, I've still got the original Slims that were from before that. I've still got them here. Well, I've got two left, I think. I gave one away. And they're still brilliant rods. You know, every one of them been fantastic. Great all-round rods. But, I've said it before, the XS is a fantastic rod, but when you're catching bigger carp and things like that, they're just not made for that. You know, when you start catching carp 8 pound plus, they're just too soft for it. They're not built for it. So that's where this new range is going to come in. You know, it's a commercial range. That's what it's all about. So where people would previously have been seeing me using the XS Slims, when I'm fishing on commercials, when I'm fishing a short method or bomb and pellet or whatever, that's when you're going to be seeing me use the new rods, because that is exactly what they're going to do. They fill in the gaps between the others, you know. So it's now it's a complete range now, which is absolutely fantastic. Steve McCrory, great answer. All right, mate. Well, I'm just being honest, mate. Stephen Peters, I'm hoping to do one, but I'm still trying to get out of the 1990s. To be honest, mate, you know, I had this discussion with someone the other day. I mean, I don't know how old most of you are, because a lot of you I won't meet, but I honestly think, my own personal opinion is that my age bracket is probably the last age bracket that has experienced both natural waters and commercials. You know, I think anybody younger than me, or pretty much, or thereabouts younger than me, have just never experienced those natural venues, you know, growing up on the rivers, on the canals, and that sort of thing. And I just think that gives you a great foundation for when it's fishing hard, when you've got to kind of grind the bites out, you know, when you've really got to dig deep, because we've just had that foundation, you know. And I mean, the 90s, if you remember the 90s and fished in the 90s, I think there's lots of venues that are on the scene now, venues that are high profile events held on these venues, that a foundation in the 90s will help you, you know, do well on them, I'm sure. So anyway, John Arthur, like yourself, seems very down to earth. He is very down to earth, simple as that. Very approachable, is brilliant, great asset for Matrix. Have you ever fished Rudyard Lake? I've only been once. You know, I have been tracking the performance of it recently, because I was going to head on over there. I was going to class that as a new venue for me, but one or two other things have got in the way now. But I know it's been fishing well, all bream fishing, hasn't it? So I've only been once, and that was on a coaching day. But yeah, I might be heading over there soon. So yeah, I'm tracking the results and seeing what's happening over there every day, to be honest. So yeah, Steve McCrory, Jamie Harrison versus John Arthur versus Jamie Hughes at Southfield. I don't think they'd go. I don't think. I asked Warren Martin about it. I said, Warren, you know, would you ever go to a match at Southfield? He says, I'd rather just throw my tackle in the river and never go again. It's not for everyone. The venues that I fish like that, it's not for everyone, especially the lads that love the commercials and love catching loads of fish. Andy Cuts, I coach juniors by running free matches at Ravenfield Ponds. During the summer, we are trying feeder fishing next Tuesday, and they are watching your bream video as homework. Do you have any tips for them? Wow. Andy, will you send me a message, please, Andy? Send me an email. I'm just thinking the best way. Or comment below. If you comment underneath this video, mate, when I go offline, which is going to be shortly, just put your email address, mate, please, and I'll send you an email, because Ravenfield's not far from me, and I might be available on Tuesday to have a run over for an hour. I'm not far from there, so please get in touch, Andy. like I said, I might be able to nip over for an hour just to say hello. So yeah, okay, mate. John Arthur and yourself should do some collabs. Would be a great watch to top anglers. I know I've mentioned it before to John. You know, obviously my channel's got the biggest following at the moment as regards subscribers, and I've mentioned it, but everybody's so busy. It's difficult getting people together. You know, John's got family commitments. He's got his coaching commitments. He's got his matches, and then he's obviously got commitments to Matrix as well, and he's with Dynamite as well. So, you know, there's a lot going off, and it's difficult to get 2 dates that are free for both of us. But yeah, I'd love to do it some stage. I really would, mate. Hi, Jamie. What's the best feeder arm out on the market? I don't know, Martin. I'll be honest with you. All I can say is the ones that I've used for the last 3 years, I haven't had a single problem with. You know, they are obviously the Matrix ones, but because I use the Matrix ones, because they do everything I need them to do, they don't break, they're fine, they're sturdy. I've never looked at any others, so I honestly don't know, mate. I only know that mine did the job brilliantly, so I'm sure that there are others out there that are good, but I don't really know, mate. Sorry. Neil Morris, the 80s were very hard too. Yeah, well, I was a kid in the 80s. Well, obviously I was a kid in the 80s, but yeah, I wasn't fishing quite as much in the 80s. I think I was more into bird watching and things like that when I was in the 80s, when I was a kid. Just a nipper. Chris Buckley, draw me a flyer Saturday. I know I'm drawing everybody's pegs out on Saturday. Obviously, we've got to stick to strict COVID social distancing rules and things. So I will be doing the draw for everyone on Saturday. So, you know, whilst we're there to have a good time, have plenty of laughs and stuff, hopefully catch some fish. We are obviously being very serious about that sort of thing. So yes, I'll do my very best for you, Chris, mate. I'll do my best. Stephen Norbury, Jamie, do you mean half a red squat on a 26 for a pair of eyes with fins? That's exactly what I mean. You know, fished a lot of canals with a size 26 hook, which I think a lot of people, I bet there's people out there that don't even know that those size hooks exist. Even 28s and 30s. We fish with joker, single joker on a 28. You know, and it's just a different kind of foundation, you know, and it's a different world now. It's a different world now. A lot of people will never experience it. Steve S, could you recommend a light landing net handle, 3 meters? Well, I use the Horizon. You know, I mean, that does go to 5.5 meters. It's very rare. I've only used it at that length once, and that's the main one that I use. But the other Matrix one, it depends. Is it, when you say light, do you mean light as in weight-wise, or do you mean light as in for silverfish? Just, if you can let me know, please, Steve, because we do a power one. In the Matrix, there is a power handle one, and that's obviously aimed more at carp and stuff, and that's brilliant. You know, I use that in islands. I use it everywhere, to be honest, where it's a little bit more, where I'm after bigger fish and that sort of thing, or where it's a bit rocky, because you've got to think about that. You know, how many times have you been sat near somewhere where there's rocks or things behind you, and you've unhooked or you've netted a fish, and you push the landing net handle back and it's clattering on the rocks and things. So that's when I use something a bit more robust in case, just to avoid any accidents like that, if you can let me know, Steve. Andre, Jamie, you are awesome. Nice to give back to the community. Great, man. Can you put in the description your other channel too? Yes, of course, Andre. I'll put it underneath for you. Like I say, you know, I know lots of people didn't like it when I launched my other channel, but, you know, there are people out there that only want to see that real in-depth stuff. You know, stuff where I might be beating myself up about something that I've done wrong in a match, where I could have improved. A lot of it is just about my thought process. And it's not stuff that I want to go onto YouTube because, you know, the downside to YouTube is that people can watch videos on here or you might not want to watch your videos. You know, not everybody approves and likes what you do, and that's life, you know, and there are certain videos that I don't want to go on there. You know, there are videos that are only for your genuine people that want to up their game, want to improve on stuff, or genuinely just want to hear about your experiences about, you know, the events that I am fortunate to be involved in, because there's lots of people out there that will never get the opportunity. So at least it gives them a window into that world. So yes, I'll put the link to that channel underneath for you. And for those that aren't members, there is we have a winter match as well, a winter get together that I pay for as well. And we do that twice a year, but there might be a third one this year. See what happens with the venues and stuff. But anyway, Tony Chandler. Hi, Tony. I hope you're well, mate. Hi, Jamie. Looking forward to Saturday. Can't wait to see you. Tony is the reigning champion from last year, kind of. But yes, he had, what did you have, Tony? £60? So he didn't fish brilliant at Lawford last year. So yeah, Tony will be up for it Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you, mate. Let's have a look. Another very late night for you. I know, Tony. I've been out on the bank. For those that want to know, like I say, one of the reasons for this tonight is just kind of having a check-in with you. I love to keep in touch with you wherever I can. I can't keep uploading polished, shiny videos all the time. I said I was going to be on here 30 minutes. It's now 1 hour and 24. So I hope when I'm estimating my weight at the end of a match, I hope I'm a bit more accurate than that. Otherwise, I'm going to lose friends. Yeah, another late. I've been on the bank the last 3 days, coaching, filming, and a match. But obviously, I've had 2 successful matches, which has been, the last one was good, but the other one was a win. The other one was I was filming, and then I was coaching as well. So, but life's what you make it. You know, you get out of life what you put into it. So I'm just making the most of it, Tony. You know me, mate. Jeff Bacon, in the centres I used to fish the Erewash Canal. I remember it with Pro Micron 0.75 with a size 28 VMC hook and a single joker or a squat. I remember fishing the Erewash. Yeah, I remember it. Hard canal, but if you got it right, you know, you could get your rewards from that with a steady approach. Big Ben, thanks, Jeremy. No problem, mate. Nigel, Sales, Rudyard getting good turnouts. Yeah, I've seen, but hit and miss. Walking distance from me. Right, yeah, I've seen all the weights. I've actually got it as a notification on my on the Facebook group, so I'm seeing the results. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to get over there. Keith Harrison, Jamie, any chance you could bring any of the new Matrix tattle with you to have a look at, please, on Saturday? Possibly not. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to get it. There's a lot of it, Keith, I haven't got myself yet. I just want to make it clear to everyone, you know, I'm going to have to sign off in a moment because I've been 3 times longer than I should have done. But I just want to let a few people know about the Matrix tackle. I just want to say that Matrix have got a policy that when stock comes in, certainly the initial stock of initial products, the first products like the new rod range and all that sort of thing, Matrix have got a policy that all those products go straight out to shops and to customers before they're sponsored anglers. Okay. Now, I'm sure people have got different opinions on that, but that is how Matrix work. And I think personally, I think that's a great thing because it means that, you know, the tackle is getting out there straight into the shops to the people like yourselves who might have pre-ordered them, ordered them from wherever, and you're getting them first before we are. All right. And I think that's a great thing. But obviously the downside to that is, unfortunately, Keith, I don't have all the new gear with me yet. All right. So I might get some delivered tomorrow. I am expecting some. And if that's the case, I will bring it along with me, mate. But you're welcome to have a look at all the kit. I will have all my kit with me because I'm doing some filming on Monday and I'm staying down there in the Midlands. So I will have my kit with me. So you can have a look. If there's anything I've got, then you're welcome to have a look at it, Keith, of course, mate. Steve McCrory, off to watch a bit of snooker. Thanks, Jamie. Another great Q&A. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate it, mate. Hope the snooker's all right. And I think I'm going to have to leave it there, guys. Like I say, I was going to do 30 minutes. I've done an hour and a half, so not very good at estimating, am I? I just want to say thanks for all the great comments recently. If anybody wants to know any information or any more detail about anything that we've talked about in the chat, you are going to be able to all see the chat within the next, I think it's a couple of hours or whatever. That will be there forever with this video. So thanks for logging on. Thanks for just kind of touching base back with me. Thanks for all the great comments. And there's been an upload today. I've got 3 more videos that are ready to be uploaded to YouTube. And I will put a link underneath this video to my other channel for those that want that real in-depth stuff. So please stay safe, everyone. I hope there's only one more day, then it's the weekend. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of days with the next video. So stay safe. And thanks for logging on, everyone. I'm going to go and get a drink, I think, and relax for the evening. Have a great evening, and I'll see you all in a couple of days.